Sairam, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you also. To
Sairam.
everyone.
Just to recollect where we were last week, Swami has been explaining about what is Sat, Chit and Anandam, how he has started. He already spoke about Brahman, the Akshara Parabrahma, and then he continued to explain what was Sat. I think we all got a bit stuck with Upadhi, we ourselves being Upadhis. Then Swami started talking about Chit. That's where we were when we closed the session last week. Yeah. So I think I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off. Sairam.
Sairam. Now take the second, Chit, the force that urges you on to know everything. Everyone is eager to know about anything that is apparent to his consciousness. He asks the questions. What is this? How does this happen? The number who actually succeed in knowing may be only a few. Others needed to persist and win. That makes no difference. The essential fact is the thirst, the urge. Take a little boy with you when you go to the market or the bazaar or an exhibition. You will note that the boy does not simply move along seeing the various things on both sides. He will be continuously asking the person who is leading him by the hand, what is this and what is that? It may be something he does not need or something that is beyond his power of understanding, but yet the stream of questions will not get dry. Just consider the inner significance of this hunger for knowledge. It is the Chit Shakti, power of consciousness, that expresses itself. It is not its nature to leave things alone. It cannot rest until knowledge is gained. So the hunger emerges as a stream of questions. The Chit Shakti is self-luminous. So it has the power of illuminating even inert things. That is why these qualities shine in man and make other things clearer to him. This is enough to make it plain that man has in him the principle of intelligence or Chit Shakti.
Thank you, sister. So we had discussed this section. If there are questions or comments, anyone of you can share. Otherwise, we can move on.
Arun, we did not discuss this Chit Shakti. We did only
the last paragraph. Okay.
Well, sorry. One question I have is where it says the Chit Shakti is self-luminous. It has the power of illuminating even inert things. And I think last time we talked about how like the Swarupa and Swabhava, it's kind of on a spectrum. They're both the same thing, but kind of on different ends of a spectrum. So is there anything that is really inert in this universe? Because everything is Atman.
Very good question. Anyone would like to share a thought? Is everything Chaitanya? Is there no Jada? I think that's the question Kalyani is asking.
Yeah. Inert things cannot move. That's one qualification. That Chaitanya Shakti is present in them, but they are not able to move from one place to another, like a tree. Tree cannot move, even though the Chaitanya Shakti is present. But we are all mobile and we move around. That's what I understand. And they cannot express their emotions also. Emotions cannot, some, of course, plant life, we have emotions expressed, but in rocks and other, when we go still further, they cannot express their emotion because the equipment is not there for them to express the emotion. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you. Yes, Sai Satyesh.
Sairamana.
Sairam.
So, the creation, it's like first involution of God into matter, and then evolution of matter to God through going through stages of becoming a plant, animal, and then human, and then finally God. And since it is God who has become this matter through the process of involution, though matter has come off God, be it a stone or whatever we call it as inert or jada, it has to go through that process of evolution for it to experience that Chaitanya Shakti and ultimately culminating in Ananda. So you have Sat, Chit and Ananda, so being, awareness and bliss. So while the being part is existential in nature and matter, the awareness keeps increasing as we go from the basic level of a stone to a plant, to a level of an animal, to human, and finally God, where you experience absolute bliss. So in terms of that evolution of awareness or chit or consciousness happens in that process of evolution to finally God. So that is where you have jada and or inert matter, and as it goes through evolution, it gains that awareness to ultimately realize what it is and become one with that bliss.
Thank you very much, Sai Satyesh. Any other thought? So I think Auntie and Sai Satyesh have covered the different perspectives of the same thing. I think this is, Kalyani, this is something which has bothered everyone, the spiritual path in the Sanatana Dharma tradition. See, Auntie, told one view of it, and Sai Satyesh, explained that we ourselves come from jada and a stone to we become human and wow. So as long as, so what it basically means is a stone does it perceive anything other than, because the stone, when we are stones, everything in the world will not be visible to us, period. So for a stone, everything else will be jada. Okay, just like it. The reason is it has what's called ignorance. Okay, so according to the Jnanis, jadam doesn't exist. Because for them, jada is your perception, which deludes into thinking that nothing is moving. For example, Auntie was saying, the tree is not moving, the stone is not moving. But the physicist will say, oh, the electrons are moving inside. But we are not able to perceive. Everything in this matter is, everything in this world is moving. Even matter, even the minutest particles are also moving, but we are unable to perceive it. So that is why scientists today, they don't know whether matter exists or energy exists, whether both of them exist. It's a challenge. So it's all ultimately, jada exists as well as you have ajnana, because ajnana superimposes jada on chaitanya. Okay, so when the jnana comes, there is not a jada, because the jada is actually maya. Because we imagine everything to be, static or thus. Okay, but it is, even though the chaitanya is present, I think there are two things. One is that is unable to express it, or we are unable to perceive. Both ways we can look at, it's vice versa. But for a jnani, even though the matter does not express, the jnani is able to perceive. He can cut through and see the Chaitanya even in that. See, Swami will say, all of us are divine. He will say, Prema Swarupa Lara. He sees every one of us as the form of Prema. But we say it is very difficult to see whether that person has love. So Swami will say, you just wear the glass of love and you will be able to see. So our entire sadhana part is to get to a point where Jada doesn't exist, only Chaitanya exists. But we start out not not manifesting or not perceiving, whichever way you want to put it. When we don't manifest, we cannot perceive. When we manifest, we will perceive. Okay, so I think that's my understanding. Just
Brother, the Atma part and the Chaitanya part is a Atma, can we say that is the one, as we said, it's an experiencing, but because the divinities pervade everywhere. So that is, we can see from its innate material or Chaitanya, where the life material. But for the Atma, only the ones that can be experienced, the divinity. I don't know how to say that, but only the Atma can experience it. We can say like that. But you are right. As long as we don't see, how we perceive. Sometimes the innate material, how we think. So everything has Chaitanya. That is so. The divinities pervade, but Atma is kind of, I find it from Swami's.
Oh, we are lost.
I think the
last paragraph also it says case something, where the Atma, they defined it as a something is within something kind of, but divinity pervade everywhere. That's I think I understood from the paragraphs. Thank you.
Sister, just as you were speaking, sometimes we could not hear you speak.
Yeah,
Oh,
even though you were speaking.
Okay. Because
so Chaitanya is like that.
so, brother, I'm driving. Sorry about that. Because yes, I have that question from the last study circle also. I was asking about the Atma in the case or something Swami is trying to say, right? So the divinity is pervade everywhere, but not Atma is something different kind of, I felt. That's why I was trying to say in a different way. I don't know, I'm expressing myself clearly or not. Thank you, Saira.
See, I think Swami earlier on also in this slide also Swami has said, a little boy does not understand, but it asks question. I think Swami basically told the same thing, similar concept in the Sandeha Nivarani. He says different stages of spiritual development. You will be a flower, then you will be an unripe fruit, then you will be a fruit, then you will detach yourself completely. All of them are stages of bhakti. But through all this, actually they are all the same. Swami says they are all the same because it is just at different time periods and different stage of maturity we are looking at something. So in that sense, the same bhakti devotion exists, but it is growing, and one day you will see it. Just the way a small child, is a small child, a human being. Yes, a small child is a human being. Does it have intelligence? Yes, it has intelligence. It is just that it is not fully matured and it is not fully expressed, manifested. So the same thing that is about Chit Sakti also. So when Swami says all of you are divine, that means we have that spark of divine in us and we have to manifest it. And it takes time, it takes effort, it takes sadhana and all that. So I think the same principle, I think Swami is trying to say, Chit Sakti exists in everyone. even whether it's a small child, even if it's a baby, the Chit Shakti is present. And we also discussed now even a stone could have, but through evolution, it may reach one day human stage. So it may take multiple incarnations, births, and janmas. I think that's what Swami says. So it is. It's like a unpolished gem, precious stone. The precious stone is inside. It is just that we cannot perceive the precious stone. I think that's my understanding. I hope. I don't know whether I further confused and because if all the Achit Shakti in me also in the communication.
Anna, just getting a little more deeper into that topic. So, so in essence, my question will be something like, will a stone have the Atman, like how we, because I'm just extending it along what Sister Aruna was asking, because we know that it is permeating with divinity. It has the same atoms, protons, electrons, neutrons, whatever you want to break it down, all of that is divinity. But in terms of the journey of the soul, would that come in at the level of the animal kingdom? Because we know plants also have feelings and so on. So I'm just trying to understand a little more from the thing of where does the soul come into the picture, where it is of course more concretized. We have the ocean everywhere, we have icebergs in certain places, so it is crystallized form of water, it is becoming that ice. But where does that ice or that Atman enter the scene, from where things start ticking? Just if there is any
Very good question, Sai Satish. I don't know, I will ask others to, I can't, wait patiently. But I will ask others to share any thoughts they have and before I venture.
So Sai Station question is, when does the Atma takes its journey from the rock? Is it your question, Sai Satish?
Yes, Auntie. So does the Atman, is it there at the rock level, or does it get into the manifesting itself at the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom? Where does the soul really come into picture? Because everything is about that Jivatma to the Paramatma. So where does the Jivatma really show up or start its journey?
In the stone or in the plant or an animal, can we call that as Chaitanya instead of calling it as Atman? Atman, when it comes to the question of having a body, that becomes Pratyagatman. Before that, I don't think, can we call it as Atman, the present, which is present in the stone or a plant or an animal? Can we call it as Atman? Can we call, or is it Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Shakti, the consciousness is there? Only consciousness is not the Atman. It has to have Sat, Chit, Ananda, all the three. I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Yeah. So again, I will go back to Sandhya Nivarani. See, there's a screen on which we are seeing projected images. So there's a film you are watching, cinema. That cinema you are seeing rocks, trees, ocean, river, everything. Okay. Then you can ask, you are seeing a rock. Does it have Atman? That's the question you're asking. There's a tree. Does it have Atman? Where is the Atman? Oh, suddenly does the Atman enter into the tree or stone? A Jnani will say, close your eyes and the world doesn't exist for you. You open your eyes, you see all these objects, but they only exist in your imagination or in your perception.
Perception.
Because there's only one Atman. You're seeing the multiplicity, and that's it. Okay, so then you can ask, when did the soul enter me? Then that's the only question. Okay, that always existed. It is just that you were not even aware that it existed. So the thing is, the Atman is present. My understanding, the Atman is present everywhere. But each of us actually are looking at it and experiencing the world. That's just Leela, as Swami would say. That is just the drama which goes on. So the thing is, if the problem of this Maya exists only with human beings, because the concept of mind is only that instrument antakarana is only given to human being. The plant is not worried about whether there's Atman, there is Jada, there is nothing. So actually it is because of that it is Brahman, pure and pure. But as human beings, even though we consider ourselves very higher in the evolution, if you want to put it, we are in a state of delusion. But we are the ones who thinks we are human beings, somebody else is different and all that. And mind is always at work. Then we can ask, why did we suddenly become ignorant? Okay, it is not, because the Chit Shakti creates that inquiry. That's all. The Chit Shakti becomes suddenly manifested in human beings, though it was dormant in all other stages. Okay, I think that's the way I would understand. So everything is Atman. Atman never entered in the scene, or it's not going to exit the scene. It is just play, up and down. It's a see, the thing is, we talked about evolution. I think from stone we became. The reality is, the theory of evolution in the Western world is a linear process. Okay, that's the way they have. Darwin says, okay, we are the pinnacle of evolution. If we have evolved until today, then what are we going to be tomorrow? Darwinian theory does not explain. So what actually it has mapped is only a minuscule of a portion of a cyclical nature of existence. So it is like, in the West, people were thinking the world is flat. No one thought it was a globe, a circle. But the concept of circle was always existed in the East. And for us, the theory of evolution only captures a small arc of the cycle of evolution and devolution, evolution and devolution, the cycle of life, cycle of everything in this world. So in that process, it is just a different phase of something in the creation, nothing more. I don't know whether I've just gone off at a tangent, but Saira.
No, first of all, thanks. Actually, when both you and Auntie were speaking, it just triggered another thing in me. Like you were saying, like you have Anandamaya Kosha that is always there. And at the level of the plant kingdom, maybe the Annamaya and Pranamaya comes into being. And when you come into the animal kingdom, the Manomaya also comes into being. And when you come to the man, then you have, apart from Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, you have Vijnanamaya come in, which then helps to essence the Anandamaya. So if you are at the level of a boulder or a Jnani, you are at the level of Anandamaya Kosha, the boulder is unaware of it, whereas the Jnani is aware of it. Is that fine, Anna?
Yes.
No, because as you said, like that was a thing that you said. The stone is not aware of it, but the jnani is completely aware of it. So that I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stone itself cannot experience that awareness, but as a gnani, you can recognize there is awareness there in the stone also.
But the jnani will look at the stone and think that is also jnani.
Gnani. That is the highest level of evolution.
Oh, it's just one related question. I think also in Sunday Nivadani, Swami says, at the devotee asks, like, well, is there even Atma in a dead body? And Swami says, yes. Where did it go? Where would it go?
Yeah.
So the whole concept of a Jivatma, a soul that travels through these different births, and that whole concept itself is also part of Maya. It's like that, because if the Jivatma and Paramatma are the same, then how can the Jivatma travel anywhere?
No place to travel.
There is no place to travel.
No place to travel. As Swami says, there's no doorway, no street when you know that you are divine. Nowhere to go. See, it's like, many things, many of these analogies are given only, a small child is told Santa Claus is coming down the chimney and leaving presents. For a child, it is a fact. It'll think it's coming from the North Pole, then all sorts of things. But for the child, it's nice. It enjoys the story, it waits for the presents, and that's the way we live with God also, the concept with God also. But one day you wake up and realize, oh, that is only to it served a purpose in our growth to understand various concepts in life. So also all these concepts of something Jivatma, Paramatma, Maya, all these are only for people who are in a certain stage or caught in that, I would say, until everything is negation. Neti, this is not, even Maya doesn't exist. Everything is not this, not this. And then one day you realize that, oh, I am the Atman. I'm just running around. But I think the whole journey is very enjoyable.
Regarding Kalyani's question that Atma is present in the dead body, it is, Swami also says the same. But there is no subtle body to express its presence. Subtle body has left. When the dead body dies, subtle body has left. Even though the Atma is present there, it cannot express. That is the reason. Atma merges in the whole. Atma is everywhere. Atma doesn't have to. Atma comes into that body when it takes birth, and with that upadhi, what we call, it becomes a Jivatma. Sairam.
Thank you. Yeah, at that stage, Kalyani, we remain where we are, but we are happy. That's why in the Zen Buddhism, apparently they say, before realization, before Buddhahood, you chop the wood and carry water.
Carry water.
After you realize the Buddha nature, you chop the wood and carry water.
Correct.
So you still engage in that. This is what Swami is telling. Just do whatever you have to do in your life, but with awareness that everything is divine. It's a divine work which is going. So you're not attached to this or that. You just enjoy what you are doing. You not enjoy the work, but enjoy the divinity itself and what we do. Sairam Shivani. Sairam Sister Shivani.
Sairam. So I hope I'm not taking everybody back, but it is something relevant to what we are discussing. So it depends on our chitta, where we are, we see the world. Yes, it's Maya. And if we reach to that level, there is nothing exists. There is, absolute nothing, Brahman and everything. So as you said, just enjoy, just to see again, I'm going to pose my question if I'm not taking long. Then there is no room, if I understand this reality, do I have room for emotions towards others and practicality? I'm just holding to that question. I understood everything. Sat Chit Ananda, you leave what is reality, is all reflection. The Maya is all reflection of Brahman and all of that. So there is, I do my due diligence, I do my duty, I do my dharma. Am I losing those emotions towards others by understanding the reality of? Sorry, I hope it's, I'm not taking back, but I think what we are discussing, I'm at the practical level, I'm thinking, am I going to lose that feeling towards others by understanding this reality? So,
I think, sister, this has been troubling for the past 3-4 weeks. Because I think last time, I think you asked a question and then I think you disappeared.
yeah.
You said, will I lose compassion if I know that I'm Brahman and everything is Brahman? I think that was what you said last time.
Yes.
So it's the same question which you're asking in a different form today.
Yes.
Because you don't want to lose the feeling, and that's really bothering you.
Yeah.
But
Will I lose? I'm not losing, I'm not in that level yet, but will that happen? And is it, I mean, I won't have any compassion or don't in
No,
Ananda time. So I'm just thinking, will that happen? Will we reach that level where I don't have feeling towards other people?
if I can answer your question, Shivani,
Sure,
you will
sure.
you will become the embodiment of compassion, and you will become the embodiment of love when you realize. You won't your whole system will be full of compassion.
So you're saying, Auntie, okay, what I'm hearing is that you will be embodiment of love and compassion, but not get attached by people. Maybe I'm attached at this level, but eventually I won't be attached, but I will have more love at the divine level.
No attachment.
so you won't become fully emotional, is it? Taking Auntie's answer, it looks like you will be totally emotional. She said full of compassion.
No, I think she will be.
Okay.
See, I think, sister, our understanding of many of these values itself is flawed. Because we think compassion means somebody is suffering, so I have to go and help. I am in a better position, so I have to help. See, that is what we think is compassion. Swami will say that is full of ego. Because we think I am helping somebody else. That means we have limited, that's ignorance. Then we think I am superior than the other person, that the other person needs my help. All these thoughts come. So compassion, the way we understand, is not the compassion which the Lord feels towards us. Of course, we say, God is also, compassionate, but He's not showing compassion. That's why we are suffering. That's what we will tell. My understanding of, knowing that we are part of Brahman, everything is Brahman. In your body, you have hands, feet, all, your different parts of the body. Suddenly you feel hungry. Who is feeling the hunger? Is the stomach feeling the hunger? Or is the mind feeling the hunger? We don't know. So, but as soon as that happens, the brain will say, okay, hand, I think you have to do this job. So hand will go and take some food, prepare something. And then how do hand can't eat. So hand has to give it to the mouth. The mouth will eat and the food will go down and the stomach will digest. And then the nutrition comes to the hand. Suddenly you feel, you cut yourself somewhere. Then hands will go get some material and bandage. Is the hand feeling any emotion? Is the question. The hand does not feel any emotion. Actually, hand is just doing its job, thinking, oh, my body needs itself. I'm just doing my part. Okay, that it does with a sense of feeling that all of us are same. We are in one body. We are in one part. Okay, because we do our part and let other parts do their job, knowing that the whole is more than the hand. So one who has realized that he is Brahman, that person will know what that person has to do. And knowing very well, even for us to do that work, the energy and the strength, everything has to come from the whole. And the whole is actually taking care of any problem in this world in its own way. Then come, I think, so there, that is compassion. You know, compassion, that means you are accompanied by passion, you know, to make it whole again. And you know what is your role. That state is the ultimate compassion, because in compassion, you feel the pain. The hand also feels the pain. It doesn't cry. It feels the pain means it knows my head, there's a headache somewhere. It belongs, this whole body is hurting. The hand knows, otherwise the hand will not function. But if the hand is emotional, the hand may not do its job. So emotions, I think, have a role to play, but then emotion should not take over. Just like all of our senses also have a role to play, but they should not take over. So I think to that's my understand. So I hope that answers your question. So everyone will have emotion, no doubt, but then we should stop at that. We should not be engulfed by that emotion. I think that's the way I would understand. So I will stop here.
Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, I think what you said plus what I am getting is also that compassion will be there. You will do your duty wherever you see. You won't close your eyes. You will do your dharma. But when we help people, there is some level of expectation. Oh, I help them, or I'm enjoying the result of it, or I get sad. But when I understand the truth, the reality of Brahman and consciousness, I will not look forward for the result. I'll just do it and say everything is Brahman and that's it. So I won't worry about, or I won't have any attachment to the end results or pride or ego that I did it or I will get sad. So
Yes.
yeah, okay. Thank you. So yeah.
You will do it as an offering to the whole body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for patience for 2 weeks holding that question.
Sarah and Michael, just to add one other question to that. So where is the role for like looking or doing seva in the community? Or is that, so if we think that like everything is happening as it should and God is the one helping, is the one ultimately helping all these other people and they don't really need me to help them?
No. See, you are a part of that God. You are a small part. Don't think God is a third person. If the hand felt, I am different, let the body is dealing with it. No, hand is part of the body. Hand has to do something. Okay. See, we are not separate from that God who think the God is, when we say God is everything, it's not that we are separate and everything else is God. We are also part of it. So you will know what is your role, you will do that role. See, this is what you will do. You will go, you are working in a hospital or something like that, okay? In a hospital, there are so many people doing so many things. Everyone does their role. As hospital, you can't say, oh, I am not the hospital. You are one of the members of the integral part of the hospital. So you have a role to play. If you don't play, God is unable to do anything. So we should understand we also have, every one of us have a role. This way in Dharma Vahini, he says, look around you. If there is a need, you have to deal with it. So we should always feel integral part of the world. That's why sometimes Swami does not tell, you should leave everything and go to the forest. That means he will say you're shirking your responsibility to the society. It is okay to do some sadhana alone, but you have a role. That's why many sannyasis go and do tapas and then they will come back and work, engage in social work or whatever. So the reality is God is not separate from you. So if God is taking care, you are also doing your part. We can't play the whole God. I think that's why sometimes we run into problem. We think we have to do everything. Then it becomes a problem. But we should say we are an integral part of this whole Brahman. I have a small role to play. This limited part of that whole has a role to play. We should just do that role. We can't neglect that. If we neglect that, that means there's problem. Brahman, God is unable to do because you are that instrument to do something.
So,
And that's my understanding. I hope I will stop here. I will ask others to share their thoughts.
Saramana, just adding to the earlier question and what you were mentioning, I have a colleague in Parthi who was mentioning about his father, and this person is a surgeon, and he has seen on umpteen number of occasions where people have come and garlanded this person for saving somebody's life, and at times they have come even and like hit him with a slipper kind thing for patients who have died. But this person has always taken both with that equanimity, because he has done what he could in that role to the extent possible his best. After that, what happens is whether we call it as divine design, God's will, or what, it is our acceptance of that also, which we go with the same equanimity, which completes the whole thing. So we do our role, we do our duty, and whatever comes also is Bhagawan's prasadam, and we accept that and move forward. So that way the journey is complete.
Very nice.
Sai Ram, thank you so much, brother. You have said that, Sai Satish. I was about to say that, and I want to add, and this is just for myself, but this is a platform where I can talk openly. You know, I love how Swami said people will say good and bad. Same people who will praise you today might kind of, uh, be not too good to you. So don't worry about that. You just do your part and leave it on me. Trust your consciousness, trust me, or supreme, whatever name we can say, Brahman, super consciousness, Swami. So don't rely for your happiness on people, because same people, today they are something else, tomorrow they're something else. So rely on your own ananda, your inner equanimity and ananda. Thank you so much. Just saying out loud to remind myself that.
Sairam, sister, thank you. Thank you.
Sarah, uncle, just when we're trying to figure out what is our role in this machine, I guess, I guess like how do we make sure we're not doing something, or we're not starting some new initiative or something, if when we're about to do something new? How do we make sure it's not because of our ego, or that it's actually we're playing that role, but it's not being muddied by our own ego?
See, sorry, because I think you've asked me, that I will answer first. The thing is, whenever we do something, there's a possibility that we may go wrong. Okay. I think the only way we can limit that is pray as long, from the beginning to the end of whatever you are doing. That's all we can do. See, sometimes if just worrying that we should not do something wrong itself is a sense of self-identification. I was maybe it's slightly because you see, this is a problem which Dharmaraja had. Yudhishthira had this problem because he always wanted to do what is right. Okay, but because he always wanted to right, he was always a sad person. He was very, very sad about everything. He does something thinking that this is the right thing to do, then he will feel sad about it all the time. Like, for example, when he went, when Duryodhana said, you have to come and play this game of dice, he thought that Kshatriya Dharma means if anyone challenges, you have to say, yes, I will face it. So he went and did. And at the end, again, he said, "Oh, why did I given everyone, I became, lost everything. Others also suffering." Then he felt sad. Then, he went to war. You know, there also he didn't have any problem. Arjuna cried. Yudhishthira didn't have problem. But at the end of the war, again, he was crying because he was always worried about what is right, what is wrong. And even Krishna, when he told him something, he had some question mark about that also. He said, he's asking me to do something not right. Okay, that was the problem of Yudhishthira. So sometimes we are all so caught up in doing what's right or wrong, we run into problem. But Arjuna, to a great extent, he was a little better because he just surrendered. Prapannam, he said, "I am completely whatever you tell, I will shoot the arrow." That's why Arjuna was a little better. So, I heard, see in Shiva and Nandi, bull, the bull is considered dharma. I don't know whether in Kali Yuga, the cow has only one leg,
One leg.
Dwapara it has 2 legs, Treta it has 3 legs, and
Krita Yuga 4.
it has 4 legs. So dharma is always seen as a cow or as a bull. Okay. Shiva is God. Okay. So Shiva has to sit on the bull. Okay. That is the right way, right priority. But if you put the Nandi on top of Shiva, then it becomes Dharmaraja. So that means he did not give importance to Krishna as much as he gave it to the Dharma. But whereas Krishna tells the Arjuna, Sarva Dharman Paritya Mamekam Shranam, you leave up all Dharma and take refuge in me. So generally, the best way to do is, see, others can judge and tell this so that, doesn't matter. But as far as we are concerned, I think what we can do is, "Oh Lord, I am doing this. I offer it to you." Once you offer it, as Sai Sati said, even if people throw chapels at you, slippers at you, or if they throw flowers at you, you will not be affected. You will say both belongs to God, so let him accept this also.
Equanimity.
Equanimity.
Equanimity is.
So the test of everything is equanimity. Equanimity, you not being pulled down by something or pulled up by that. So that is the test. If we are doing the right thing in the right state of mind, equanimity is the test. So we may not reach that state one day, in a single day or a few days. It may be a lifelong journey. But we should not worry. When we are upset by something, also that also you talk to the Lord and say, "Lord, the problem is with me. Please help me." I think that's all we can do, because you really can't mess up what God does too much, because He is much more powerful. But He will give the room for us to make a mistake and learn for ourselves. If you are scared of falling down from the bike, you will never learn to ride a bike.
One foot on the ground, one foot on the pedal. That Swami says somewhere, it's riding the bicycle like that.
Sairam, Sister Anita.
Sai Ram, brother. I think it's also discipline as well, because some of us are emotional beings, some think logically. So like like I used to work in the hospital, like for example, and then some nurses would come and do their job and they're gone, and then I would talk to the patients and my mind would be just stuck on that patient, right? And at times it would slow me down because I would get emotionally, like you get a little bit, and then there would be homeless people on the streets. And then if I, brought a cup of coffee or something, that like I would have to run to get to my job, which I had to attend to the patients. So even being as a mother too, you want to help the kids. And sometimes you want to hold their hands, you don't want them to fall. and because your emotions are so strong, they have to learn their own lessons. And I have figured out over the years that also they are doing their own journey too. So you have to put that logical brain and then your heart, to put it to rest on the side or something, because you cannot be 100% heart or 100% logic. So it's a lot of orchestrating, like you said, like it's like the movement and how you orchestrate everything. It's complicated and it involves a lot of discipline, and that's why these people reach those high levels, because they're disciplined beings. That's what I think I lack. Sorry, I was just venting out.
No, it was wonderful to listen, sister. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Saramana, just adding to that bit, Swami would say this. He would say, Tasmai namaha karmane. So in terms of bowing down to the action even before starting it with that reverence, and keeping that communication going, like you mentioned, Yudhishthira versus Arjuna, that Purvatapa and Paschatapa, where Yudhishthira's was always after the action is performed, then look at the repercussions. Whereas in the context of Arjuna, it is before the action is performed, think of all the thing, approach it with a sense of surrender and reverence. And that is what I think long time ago we had discussed this also, why Arjuna got Bhagavad Gita and not Yudhishthira, and so on. So, and lastly, based on what was mentioned also, like as we know that when children are learning how to walk, usually the parents will hide and let the child walk so it is able to walk on its own. And at the time it falls or about to fall or so, the parent comes and immediately holds the child. Likewise, we offer the action or what we are to undertake to Swami, and then take that step, and with complete faith that my Bhagawan is there, my Swami is there to take care. And once that happens, because we always say love of 1,000 mothers and so on. So if that feeling, we take the action, definitely Swami will take care of things. Even that is whatever is to happen, he will be there with us. Even if we have to go through the plus or the minus, Swami will be there with us, guiding us through that. So with that, if we take our step forward, ultimately what we are discussing earlier also, all of it is Maya and so on. But we know that our Swami is with us, so we take that step. And so even if it goes either way, we go through it with that complete feeling that I have my eternal parent with me. So I think that will help.
Wonderful. And when you're talking about Swami, I was reminded of one of the discourses which Swami gave to our students in one just during a sport, one of the early sports meets. Okay, so Swami said what he was telling. Indians have many good qualities, but there's one quality which they lack is knowing how to have self-confidence. So he says they believe in God, but they also need to develop self-confidence. And then for that he says, see, in India, if a mother, a child is learning to walk, the child will take a few steps and fall down, and the mother will run and cry more than the child, pick up the child and not let it walk for 3-4 days. And so people are so protected and they don't want to get hurt. They don't. So children also never learn to get hurt and never know how to get up and walk. But it's on the contrary. He said the best mothers are from Jewish mothers, Swami said. Apparently what they will tell, a child will walk, no, they will leave the child at one place and they will stand far. And then they will say, come. And then the child, tentatively take a few steps and it will fall down.
No.
And when it falls down, it will cry. Apparently the mother will not move. Mother will say, get up, get up. Get up and walk. The child doesn't have any. So it'll get up and walk and it'll again fall. And the mother will say, get up and walk. It is not that the mother is not pained, but apparently the mother understands this child should not learn how to fall down and get up. Because this is a physical falling down. In life, there are so many times you fall down so badly, and people will not know what to do. So this ability of the self-confidence and self-sufficiency has to be cultivated. Swami was saying that is why in sports and all this, no Indian is good. Because even though people are capable, other countries, everyone is doing very well in sports. In India, no sports. Because mother will say, don't run in the soccer field, you will fall down and you will, get hurt, I have to bandage you, all that. He said that is why India is very, very poor, in this. Everyone is scared. Physically hurt.
Mothers are overprotective and they go on saying, Vindurreda, Pohadeda, Adipadupda, all these things, We never allow the child to do anything. We always are scared when they get hurt.
Yeah. So all about emotion, compassion, all that is covered here in that story. When Sai Satish was telling, I was reminded of that.
Okay.
Yes, Brother Thasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So I like the last line that the man has in him the principle of intelligence or Chit and Sakti, because we all forget the purpose of the human life is awakening of original nature. And that's Sat Chit Anand. So because of the delusion, because even Swami told the delusion, even the Maya, is Paramatma. But even immovable items are Paramatma. Even at home, if you kick a cloth, you are creating karma. That kind of understand we're supposed to have that one. Even karma itself is a Paramatma. We think we are doing. We are not doing anything. But even if, for an example, at workplace, if we do whatever we allocated, whatever our capacity, then no problems. Then we get that whatever the benefits. But if you try to do some other role, you are in trouble. Same thing in karma also, we are surrendering our whole body because of the Paramatma. We are Paramatma. Then there won't be, we are not getting plus or minus, it all goes to the Lord. We understand because we are not smelling or we are not doing any actions, we are not doing. He is the one doing everything. That kind of knowledge, if we have it, we can avoid a lot of issues. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So is the ideal to have no emotions, or to be distant from emotions even when they arise in us?
So I think good question, Kalyani. So I think Kalyani's question is, if emotion comes, is it better not to have emotions? I think that's the question. No, emotion should not be there. Period. Is what is that the path of spirituality? I think that's Kalyani's question. Is a spiritually evolved person without any emotions? So put it that way. I will ask others to share their thoughts. Is a spiritual person without emotions?
Even if it is a spiritual person, emotions are there because he has got his human body. He was born with it. For the time being, when he realized that, these emotions are not needed, but he can be detached in spite of that emotions. He can be detached. Yesterday I was listening to Bhagavatam story. Krishna, at the age of 11, he had to leave Gokulam, and he was supposed to go to Mathura. Akrura came to pick him up. The whole village came to know about it. Akrura has come to pick up Krishna, and then he is going to take him to Mathura. But Krishna, it seems, He never said, I'm going, bye-bye, this and that, farewell. No. He went and sat in Akrura's chariot. And then he never even looked at those gopikas. And they were all crying. They were all saying bye-bye to him. But after going a little distance there, then he sent word saying that I will come back. Don't worry. So see, it teaches us, even though he was full of attachment, there he shows his detachment too. That is what that we have to learn. That's what I was listening to him. Sad.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
Mm.
Anyone else would like to share?
Sai Ram, I don't know if it makes sense, but I'll give a little practical how, we read other Vahini as well and this Vahini and learned that towards your kids, I will always say that my emotions have not gone, that I don't love them anymore. But when they are in pain, I believe, that's my assessment, I don't feel that pain. I am emotional. I'll say, okay, you have to, but I'm not sad with their, because I have learned each child, everybody has to go through their journey. The karmas. It was hard for me that I was thinking I'm responsible. I have my dharma. My dharma is as a mother duty, do your duty, but they have to go through their own journey. So whenever they're not able to achieve what they're supposed to and they're a little sad, I feel I am not linked with that attachment. I'm not a part of their sadness anymore. So I believe I feel the emotions, I am part of that, but their ups and downs are not affecting me at all now. I mean, of course, that's lots of sadhana, lots of discipline, understanding the truth, the reality of what Swami has and what I'm learning from this study circle. I don't know if it makes sense, but I think I'm emotional, but I am not attached with the ups and downs. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Yes, I said.
I think earlier we had discussed this incident where Swami had a fall and they asked him, Swami, are you going through a lot of pain and suffering? Swami said, Noppi undi kani badaledu. There is pain, but there is no suffering. So in terms of the body level and the mind level, the emotions play out. And what Anna was mentioning earlier, if I can borrow the screen just sees everything act on it. So it stands as a witness. And at the level of the Atman, it sees all of that play out and then responds to it. So emotions and everything play out. And there is always a response that is happening rather than a reaction. And that is from the level of the Atman, that I am that absolute. And then it plays out. So whether it is Bhagawan or Jnani, who's on that journey to become Bhagawan, they would experience all of the world as we experience. But the response that comes from within is based on the fact that they are the absolute, and it is that absolute that is flowing through them as a channel and then permeating the universe, or getting that kind of a response that has to happen. Sairam.
Thank you very much. I think one of the things which we have to understand is what are emotions. Unless we know what are emotions and what's the role, I think that's the most important thing. I think little, I don't know, maybe, I think a few chapters only, at the previous chapter, I don't know. Swami says, what are physical experiences, what are mental pranic experiences, what are mental experiences, and things like that. I don't know whether hunger and thirst is of the prana and things like that, if you remember. So the reality is just the way in the physical level, if something cuts, then you feel pain. If something's soft, it's a pleasurable sensation. And the nose, you smell something, it's a good smell, bad smell. They are reactions of the senses. But then you should not get addicted to them. They only let you measure and appropriately respond. Same way in the mental sphere, emotions come. They are basically natural reactions of the mind for a particular experience. But at that point in time, you need to get the information which comes from that and then act accordingly. So the thing is, emotions are just that. They just let you evaluate varieties of experiences as so that you know how to respond. So that is the extent to which they should go. For example, if why taste is there, it is an experience of eating some food. That's good enough. But if you say, I like this, so I want more, then it's a problem. So that is getting stuck to that experience and then wanting more of it. Same thing happens to emotions also. They say, for example, they will say anger of a jnani is like a letter written in water. So the thing is, as you write it, actually the anger is disappearing. Then you can write it in sand, or you can write it in a rock. So the thing is, the jnani has all emotions. It's like water, written on water, because the mind itself is water. Manas Sarovar. So everything should be, emotion should be like writing in the water.
Water.
So at that point in time, again, the water has to become still. It should, even if we get angry with somebody, okay, at that point in time, it's a response, mental response. Act accordingly. So now you say, okay, now the anger has to come down, or you can use it for the purpose, and then it's gone. So emotions have a role. It's part of God's creation. How we use is what matters. It's like using a knife to cut a vegetable. You use it, you cut the vegetable, put the knife away. We don't have to carry the knife and walk around and then it's a problem. So what happens normally is an emotion comes and we latch onto it. And then we can't get rid of the knife on the hand. What happens? We hurt ourselves more and more. This is the problem with how we don't use emotions appropriately. So as long as
holding on to the emotions is ego, expression of ego, I think comes. Ego plays that part to holding on to that, any kind of emotion. Saira.
Positive or negative, both are problem.
Both.
So emotions are supposed to, they're a response to something external, like you said, it's a response in our mind.
Mental response. Not your response, mental response.
Okay. And then using that mental response, that response is we're actually supposed to use that for something, is it?
Yes, information, and it has a certain use, that's all.
So say you get angry, or you feel angry, or you feel hurt, like those negative emotions. How do you channel them into something useful?
Very, very good. You see something and you get angry. You have to immediately, buddhi has to right away come into play. Why am I angry? Okay, what should I do with this emotion? Or is this, if it's a righteous anger, it's good, okay. Righteous anger has to be expressed outside. If it's not a righteous anger, it should be discarded. A righteous anger will not last, and it should not last. So for example, your child is trying to touch something and hurt himself, you are right away, mind is angry. Hey, yeah, you should not touch it. So you will express it. The child gets a message, you drop it. After that, you don't, next day you don't tell, yesterday you went and touched. So that means the anger is still lingering. Okay, you feel sad about something, you can express it. If it's a good sadness, the expression should bring out benefit in either, not to you as well as the other person. Any expression of emotion should bring good outcome for yourself as well as the other person. That's it, and end of that story. Then you move on. Don't carry it to the next day, to the next hour, next minute. This is my understanding. So we should not carry that with us. And we just express it. And because sometimes if you're sad, somebody has done something you're sad, by expressing that sadness, maybe that person will learn something, you express it. You say, I'm sad by this. End of story. But then we should not be melancholic. So I think ultimately in life, anything we do should be tested on the touchstone. Is it beneficial for everyone? That's it. Whether it's expression of emotion, feeling the emotion, all of it.
Okay, so before we actually express it, then we have to do that discrimination. Like, is this because of my ego? And if it is, then maybe it's not supposed to be expressed.
Swami has, I'm telling you all this, Swami, there are discourses which where Swami has discussed all this. What to do with emotion, how you do with emotion, how do you deal with the emotion when it becomes unbearable. All that Swami has covered.
Thank you.
That's why Buddhi is front and center. Everything you right away go to Buddhi. Like, yesterday we were discussing Swadhyaya, somebody asked this question. Why do we worship Ganapati? Ganapati stands for Buddhi. Before you do anything, you need to get the permission of the Buddhi. So you pray to Buddhi. Whether you speak, whether you do, at all points you ask the Buddhi permission and it will guide you. Yes, Brother Tasan.
Sairam, brother. Even here, Archana was a lot. He had emotion, a lot of emotion. So that's what Lord Krishna said. Don't attach to the accents, because when you have emotion, that is going to put you down in the spiritual side. Our main purpose of the self-realization and the transformations. So when you get even anger, it will spoil your day. Even the mind will go down and everything. So emotional, then we have to understand that is not good for our transformation, self-realizations, because our life is so time. Because nobody's going to come when they are in time. Nobody's going to come with us. That is, we have to think about, or wife or kids, or nobody's going to come. So once we realize that one, we can control our emotions. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Sister Shivani.
Sairam, when Sister Kalyani asks, then we don't become emotional as a human being as we grow. I think that's what I understood. So how I saw that is that as we know the reality, the truth, the Satya, or the Brahman, the existence of Brahman, it's all pervades everywhere. I am thinking an individual become more emotional actually, because then you're not thinking about yourself as the only existence as body. You could actually relate if people are in trouble or sorrow. You're more emotional. You could relate to them because there's oneness in them towards the environment. I mean, if you think about the global warming, it's raining now. You think about the environment, polar bears. You are more emotional. But as you said, what are you doing? Maybe I'm not getting angry, what the world is doing. How can I save? By not using plastic? Simple example. Okay, this person is in destitute or poor for whatever reason. I don't need to go in the past and present. How can I help? Okay, let me just give food and then move on. Then chapter is closed. So my understanding, the more we come to know the reality, the truth, you're more emotional because you left yourself as an individual. You get into that. This is me. This is my existence, environment, people. So I took from that I will be more emotional, maybe not attached. And what at a very minuscule level, what can I do to feel that contentment within me, and maybe I serve myself by serving the environment of the person. Sorry, that's how I understood that. I leave myself, but I see myself in everybody.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Saravana, as since you mentioned about Manasarovar thing, that triggered a couple of other thoughts. So, like Ramana Maharshi had mentioned about how the mind being, like, even as a thought comes, so long as it's like furrowing or tilling the land. So as long as the thought comes and I, at the level of the manas or the buddhi, don't ride that furrow, it's just like the thought going past or going across the whole realm of the mind without creating any furrows in the land or without the tilling happening. And depending on who rides it, at the level of the manas or the buddhi, however we want to, at whatever level we do, it tilts the land, and the depth to which we till the land is again every time we play and replay that thought. We keep having that mental discussion, mental dialogue happening again and again, which is what is like ultimately it goes to the level of becoming from a habit to a vasana kind, where literally instead of being at the level of reflecting from Anandamaya Kosha or Atman, it is more like I respond at the realm of the manas, not even at the buddhi. As soon as something comes, I react rather than I respond. The greatest level will be to observe as it happens, look at what should be, how would Swami respond to it, and then try to play that down so that every time we engage in any reaction, reflection, and resound, it comes at that level. Because more or less, it's like a ping pong that's happening as the action comes. It's more because of my reflex of always doing it in the particular way of not staying at the level of the Atman, but just doing at the Manas, I automatically do it. But can I stop for a second, look at it, and not keep furrowing the land, allow it to play that level of a witness, have watch the whole thing, and then respond to it from the Atmic realm? Then I think every time we see the emotions come, but we are able to dwell on the indweller rather than dwell on that thought and get caught in it. That's what would happen.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Now that you mentioned Ramana Maharshi, I was also reminded of something. Sometimes we have this idea, Jnani means he doesn't feel hunger, he doesn't have sleep, no problem. They can deal with anything. So once apparently one devotee or follower of Ramana Maharshi came to him and said, Swami, you were without food for like, hundreds of days, you were in one cave, we also would like to get to that stage of not feeling hunger and all that. So Ramana Maharshi apparently asked, how do you know that I didn't have hunger? Then he said, no, so many days you didn't have food. He said, there was no food, so I had to remain hungry, that's all. So he said, no, it's not that hunger was not there. Hunger was there, but there was no food, but I was not troubled by it. So apparently in Ramanashram, as soon as anyone comes, Ramana Maharshi always asks, did you have something to eat? And he himself used to go and cook something and give for anyone who came, because those days no others were there. So he used to go and cook and feed. So because when somebody asks him, Swami, when they have come for some jnana, some great Upanishadic learning, he says, no, I know what is the pain of hunger. Okay. So he used to make sure that whoever come was fed first before he did anything else. He won't listen to their questions. So they have experience, but they don't let it trouble them. They don't become hangry. Okay. So I think we are. Say, Auntie.
Are we moving forward? I said.
That's why I was just about to say the same thing, because I could read. Auntie telling we are still in the last. We are not still. Auntie, we were just experiencing the play of Chit Shakti just now.
Okay.
For the
Everybody,
1 hour.
Chit Shakti was very active.
Because there's one sentence, I was just looking at reading it again and again. So the hunger emerges as a stream of questions.
Yeah, that's good.
That is what, that third line, I think, fourth line says that. So it is not the nature of to leave things alone. It cannot rest until knowledge is gained. So the hunger emerges as a stream of questions. We were actually practically explored this paragraph.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Swami says, this Chit Shakti is self-luminous. I think that's it's because the reality, each of us may have been talking something, but the reality, each of our understanding is actually which is derived from within only. Our understanding only comes from within. Whatever others may have said or not said. So all of our learning actually is because of the Chit Shakti within us, illuminating the message to us. So that is that. So Swamja, so it has the power of eliminating even inert things. Now we are going back to the Jada. What is Jada? That was also we discussed. So Swami says the power has even inert things are illuminated by that. So then that is why these qualities shine in man and make other things clearer to him, I guess, or her.
Brother, the inner things are illuminated, but that when you are having the body consciousness, and if you think you are a divine, you are a sparkle of divine or Atma, that is something like that also you can take it. Thank you, Saira.
Okay, so it's yes.
Sorry, is the Chit, I think we discussed this, but just to clarify, so the Chit Shakti is in humans, and it also exists in lower life forms.
Brahman is Chit. Brahman is in everything. So I think that.
Yeah. Okay, it just is not expressed, maybe in certain.
Yeah.
Not perceived by us. It may be expressive. Because it's the reality, somebody may say something, but it may be unintelligible to somebody else. Okay. Anyone can. If Swami was expressing so much, we didn't understand, So was Swami not expressing, or did we not understand?
That's what I tell you, they don't understand me.
So, as they say, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, not in the object we perceive.
Yeah.
Before we move on, we didn't do the Telugu for this. Can we just do
I was waiting for you to say that. We didn't do the Telugu portion of it. Is it okay if I read the?
Yes, Auntie.
Now takes a second. From there, should I read? Or
yes.
I think.
Yeah. ఇక రెండవదైన చిత్ ఇది అన్నింటినీ తెలుసుకొనవలెనను శక్తి. ప్రతి మానవుడు దేనిని చూచినను అది ఏమి, ఎవ్రీవన్ ఈజ్ ఈగర్ టు నో అబౌట్ ఎనీథింగ్ దే సీ అని ప్రశ్నించి దాని స్థితిగతులను తెలుసుకొన గోరును. వాంట్స్ టు నో స్థితిగతులు అంటే
It's state, where it's going, what's the end of it, what's the outcome, all that. Sthiti means state, gati means a destination.
ఆ విధముగా ప్రయత్నించి దీనిని తెలుసుకొని వారు కొంతమంది ఉండవచ్చును.
So there are few people who can make this effort and understand.
కేవలము తెలుసుకొనవలెనని మాత్రము ఆశించి ప్రయత్నించి తెలుసుకొని లేకుండా పోవచ్చును.
So there are some people who would like to, will want to understand, they will make effort, but they may not understand it.
ఎటులైననేమి
Whatever
Prati-
is, yeah.
ప్రతివాడు
I didn't get that. What was that?
ఎటులనైననేమి
Whatever happens, so what? Something like that.
ఏమైతేనేమి, దట్ ఈస్ ఎటులైననేమి.
Yes.
ప్రతివాడు తెలుసుకొనవలెనని ఆసక్తితో ప్రయత్నమును సలుపును.
Everyone makes some effort wanting to know.
ఎవరైనా చిన్న పిల్లవాడిని చేత పట్టుకొని సంతకో లేక బజారుకో లేక ఎగ్జిబిషన్కో వెళ్ళినా ఆ పిల్లవాడు అక్కడున్న ప్రతి వస్తువును చూచుచూ ఊరికే ఉండడు.
So I think the translation is pretty good. If you take a child by his hand and take him to an exhibition or the bazaar, which is
బజార్ ఆర్
shopping complex or whatever, or santato means market, he will keep on asking about everything. He will look at everything and keep on asking questions.
తన పెద్దవారైన వారినో లేక ఎవరు చేపట్టుకొని తీసుకొని వెళ్ళిరో వారినో ఇది ఏమి అది ఏమి అని ప్రశ్నించుచుండును.
So whether it's a parent or anyone, any adult who takes him, he will keep on asking them, what is this, what is that?
ఆ పిల్లవానికి అవసరం లేకపోయినా తెలిపిన అర్థము కాకపోయినా ఆ పిల్లవాడు ప్రశ్నించక మానడు.
The information might be not necessary for him, nor he may not have the ability to understand, but he will still not stop asking questions.
ఇది సాధారణంగా ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి నిత్యానుభవంలో కనిపించును.
This is experienceable by everyone in a day-to-day basis.
దీనిలోని అంతరార్థం ఏమి?
What is the inner significance of this?
అని ఆలోచించిన ఆ రూపములో ఉన్న చిత్ శక్తి ఊరకుండలేదు.
What you understand is that in that form or rupa, the chit shakti cannot just keep quiet.
Right. దానికి అది సహజము కాదు.
That's not normal for it.
ప్రతి ఒక్కటిని తెలుసుకొనవలెనని తహతహలాడును.
It will want to understand. It will be agitated to know or something of that. Seri andi
తహతహలాడును. Eager to understand, eagerness. అది ఆ రూపేణ బయట పడుతుంది.
So it comes out
like that.
It expresses itself outside like that.
స్వయముగా చైతన్యమైన చిత్ శక్తికి జడ వస్తువులను కూడా చైతన్యవంతముగా ప్రకాశింపచేసే స్వభావము సహజముగా ఉన్నది. The chit has got its own chaitanya, its illuminate power.
Self-illuminate. It does not require help from elsewhere to illuminate. It can illuminate itself naturally.
So, but it jada shaktuలను జడ వస్తువులను కూడా
even in inert things,
it makes them shine. అందుకనే ఈ లక్షణము మానవుని యందు మెరిపించున్నది. మెరిపించే షైన్ అవుతుంది.
Shine. Oh, I see. It shines even. Okay.
Shines in him. మానవుని యందు చిత్ శక్తి ఉన్నదనుటలో పై విషయము విచారించిన స్పష్టమగుచున్నది.
So if you analyze the above mentioned matter, it will become clearer to you.
తర్వాత మూడవది మానవుడే కాక పశు
that we have gone to the Anandam. We have not read the English portion. That's it.
But this last paragraph, Swami, until the knowledge is gained, he said.
Yes.
That's it. But what Swami is trying to tell us, consciousness is even though It is present in every being. How some people stop with it only knowing it, but you have to have steady faith or intelligence needed to know and persist and win. That's what the first paragraph says. Everyone is aware of things. Everyone knows. Everyone has curiosity, but not that steady faith and then to inquire into it and to come to a or make it very clear to them.
So I think it's 4:30. I don't know if there are any questions someone want to ask today. You can ask.
To next week also we can have.
Is everyone is okay? Wish you all a happy new year again.
Again, wish you all happy new year.
It's wonderful to start the new year with a study on Chit Shakti. Because Chit Shakti is integral for study circle. Because that's why we come to know, acquire knowledge itself. Chit Shakti is the most essential.
And Chit Shakti should lead us and guide us also in the proper way.
Thank you. So we'll close the session today with some prayers and we'll meet again next week. Saira. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Sai Ram.